You broke all that. We know that. I'm saying Q tells us stuff and all of it's lies is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of That's why. Because every thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, and I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin popsums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus Christ. Lord help.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming at WMNHradio.org. And on the Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Today is Tuesday, January 26th. 2021. Exciting, fun, and, excitement coming up on the show today. There's always many things to discuss. The Senate has been sworn in for they're going to do their, apparently the Republicans have already signaled that they find the whole thing unconstitutional. We'll get into that. Also some executive orders signed by President Biden today. But coming up in the second hour, we're going to be joined by none other than EZG Eric Gagnon for his entertainment report. So I hope Scott Robinson is listening and has his pen and paper ready for those Amanda McCarthy tour dates. So that will be very exciting as well. Of course, I want to remind you all that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. Don't go there today because Monday and Tuesday is their weekend, but they will be open tomorrow. And of course, Trivia Night did return recently, Wednesday nights at the Hop Knot. It is a great place. They have delicious gourmet pretzels. They have craft beer. They have wine. I'm dying to try that. Is it a pretzel pizza or a pizza pretzel? I'm not sure. I just know it's got pretzel and pizza and the same thing. It's like my stomach desires that tremendously. So I look forward to that. Got to do that this week. But yes, please visit the Hop Knot. Great food, great service, and a great family that owns and operates it. And they do everything very safely there. The staff is masked at all times. The tables are nice and spread apart. And of course, they do clean and disinfect consistently. So they're really committed to that as we continue to move through the COVID era to really having a safe environment there to go and enjoy food. And, of course, you can get it for carryout. And, by the way, if you decide to order something there and you go to pick it up and you have your Hop Knot face mask, because for only $10 you can get a really cool-looking face mask that says the Hop Knot on it. If you then wear that face mask when you go to get food there, you automatically get 10% off. It's kind of like almost like a frequent shopper card, but it's a face mask. And it gets you a 10% discount just for walking in. Of course, you got to wear a face mask to walk in there anyway, because, again, as I mentioned, they're committed to safety. But you wear your Hop Knot face mask, you get 10% off. You can't lose. It's incredible. So please visit them. We would greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate our association with them. And everything there is delicious. Of course, don't forget our other great sponsors here at WMNH. You know, you've got Queen City Cabinetry, our friend Mike Pelopita. I always see him in the Facebook live chat. He's a big supporter of not only this show, but the morning show and just of the station in general here. So very happy about that. Of course, there's the Regency Collection, kind of the new kids on the block. And, of course, the OG of WMNH sponsors. CGI Business Solutions, they've been with us since the beginning. EZG just messaged me on the Facebook. He says, how about on Wednesday, not feeling well, just very tired, sorry. That is fine, EZG. That is fine. But there is a potential consequence, an unintended consequence of that. Scott Robinson has expressed his frustration with the fact that the day keeps changing because he was expecting, I assume, those Amanda McCarthy tour dates today, and now he's going to have to wait till tomorrow. But that's okay. I'm sure he will understand, Eric. Apparently a big day. Eric posted earlier on the Facebook that the Eagle has landed, and his tablet, purchased for him by the great Brian McKay, as Eric would say, is now fully functional and operational. And I believe Peter White of The Morning Show with Peter White, which you can hear weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. with a replay from 2 to 4 p.m. right before this show, Peter helped him get it set up. So that's a wonderful thing. And who knows, perhaps EZG, when he does his entertainment report tomorrow afternoon, perhaps he will not be calling in, but rather Skyping in using his tablet. So it's a wonderful thing. Progress. Everything is progressing forward, my friends. I hope my conservative listeners aren't bothered by the word progress. I know they don't like things being progressive. It's a little joke there. By the way, I have a friend who is a conservative Republican whose favorite band is Yes. And I remember commenting to him once. I said, it's interesting to me that you're a conservative and yet you like progressive rock. So he didn't think that was as funny as I did, and I have no idea if you thought that was funny. Mildly amusing at best, probably, but anyway, it's a low bar here. You can give us a call if you'd like, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send me an email to matt@mattconnerton.com, and of course, you can go to mattconnerton.com and click Listen Live, and all the contact info is there, too. You can also leave comments on the website there, and all the phone numbers and everything are there, too. So you can make that your central location for all things involving this program. So there you go. Let's see. Let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook Live chat. Looks like we have a pretty active chat room already, which I do so love to see. And then we'll get into some issues, or issues, as I think I hear them say on the BBC. Mike Pelopita, first one in today. Mike is a top fan, as I mentioned, from Queen City Cabinetry. You can bring your kitchen to life, as Peter White would say, with Queen City Cabinetry. Hello, Mike. Bobby Champagne is in the Facebook Live chat. Hello. Michael Martineau, better known as Texas Mike, is in the Facebook Live chat and says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Texas Mike says, just to clarify, that karaoke that Peter played on the radio this morning was of me from last year. Oh, yes, I remember that. I believe we had played this on this program. The dulcet tones of Texas Mike. For those who don't know, not only is Texas Mike a former AWA tag team champion with Blackjack Mulligan back in the 1970s, he's also quite the crooner. Let's see. Rocky Huber is in the Facebook Live chat asking, what song did he sing? Bobby wants to know as well. Oh, Calling Baton Rouge by Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks, by the way, was, I can't remember if we talked about this. I was surprised to see him at the inauguration of Joe Biden. You almost wouldn't expect a country music star to be at the inauguration of a Democrat, but Garth was there. He did perform, and he was so excited afterward. He was shaking hands. He was hugging and kissing everybody, and it's like, no, Garth, no, it's COVID. But I guess he was caught up in the moment. Let's see. Hopefully Garth has been tested and everyone he came in contact with, I assume. Miriam Banish, who is a top fan, is in the Facebook Live chat. Hello, Miriam. Let's see. Rocky is suggesting Texas might call in and sing the song on the air. I have a feeling that Mikey will not do that. Mike Pelopita thinks that's a great idea. I would welcome it. I mean, we don't have an entertainment report from Easy G, so to hear the dulcet tones of the crooner Texas Mike, I think would be quite wonderful. I'd like to hear him call and sing if you're going to play in Texas. But, my phone is vibrating. Apparently, I forgot to entirely mute my phone. Sorry about that. Every once in a while, I forget. There we go. That shan't happen again. Let's see. Michael Albert is in the Facebook live chat. Michael was commenting on that clip I played at the top of the show. Alex Jones going off on Q. Yes, if you don't know, you may have thought that, the most talked about romance, or perhaps bromance would be the more appropriate term, to come crashing to an end during this election season was that of Donald John Trump and Michael R. Pence. I don't know if R is really his middle initial. It sounds right to me. I'm not sure. They, of course, not as close as they once were because Mike Pence had to go and do his constitutional duty at the, at Congress, and that set off, a bunch of militia type people trying to hang him after the stirring words of a speech given by Donald Trump. So, things have been a bit strained. It sounds like, the romance is over. It's too bad because, if you ever watched any of the videos of when they're doing press briefings, like during the coronavirus task force, remember like way back in the beginning of COVID-19 when Trump was actually taking an interest in it? And Trump would talk, and if you watch, you'd see Mike Pence off to the side. And the way Pence would gaze upon Trump, gaze upon him as he was speaking, it was very reminiscent of the way Nancy would gaze upon Ronald Reagan while he was speaking. And it was just, it looked like, you hate to see true love like that just dissipate in a matter of less than a year. Or about a year. No, less than a year. Time is challenging for me. Sorry. But no, another great romance has ended, my friends. It is true. Alex Jones is now very upset with Q. Now, I don't think he's upset specifically with Q, the individual who calls into our show occasionally. I believe he's upset with QAnon, the organization, or cult, whatever, conspiracy theorist movement. The modern Republican Party, whatever you want to call it. Alex Jones seems upset with them and has had quite enough of their tomfoolery. But some have suggested, and I think Jenny even mentioned this on the show yesterday because this subject did come up briefly yesterday, but I didn't play the audio, that the only reason that, that Alex Jones is really turning on Q is because he feels threatened by Q kind of invading his space. Alex Jones, he's kind of cornered the market, the conspiracy theorist market here in the U.S. And Q, he may have felt that Q was moving in on his turf, or maybe Alex Jones is just trying not to get sued anymore. But for whatever reason, whatever his motives, he has in fact broken up with Q, and he said something in the clip about, witches and warlocks and all of that. He's not into that. Which, and by the way, as a man of God, he should not be into that. My understanding is that theologically, those things are problematic at best and are rooted in demonic energy. So there you go. So the very Christian Alex Jones, he has no more use for Q. He's done with Q. I had to bleep out some words. Alex Jones actually used profanity in his very public on-air breakup with Q, but he's just done with them. He's done. So there you go. But whose side are you on, right? I mean, if you feel obligated to pick a side, do you side with Q or do you decide with Alex Jones? I mean, it reminds me very much of, when I was a kid and I started watching wrestling, I remember there was one week they had a match on Saturday night's main event on NBC where it was Jake the Snake Roberts versus Macho Man Randy Savage. And I remember at the time thinking, wait a minute, they're both bad guys fighting each other. Who do I... Now, of course, Macho Man's my favorite wrestler of all time, so I took Macho Man's side, but who do you side with in this case? I'll side with Alex Jones because he is a fellow broadcaster, so if I have to choose sides, but then again, that might upset our friend Q, who does call the show occasionally. Although the last time Q called, it sounded like he also was kind of done with QAnon, which is very strange because his name comes from QAnon and because his name is Q. It's all very confusing. Such a tangled web, my friends. I just don't know what to do anymore. Let's see. Edward Matejek is in the Facebook live chat. I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce your last name, but welcome to the show. Straight up locos, he said. Yes, well, that is what we expect from Alex Jones. That's why we pick on him. Edward says, where do you think our country is heading? Well, that's a very broad question, my friend. I don't really know how to answer that. Hopefully it's heading someplace good and not someplace bad. How's that for an answer? Stick around. Maybe I'll be able to answer that more coherently as the show progresses and we get into some specific issues. Angela Philbrook is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Angela. Angela says, good afternoon. Let's see. Tom Blanchard is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Tom. Michael Albert says, Hopknot needs to have a dish called Frayed Knot. That would be funny. That's a great idea. Let's see. Brian Mackey is in the Facebook live chat all the way from Idaho. Brian is the one who bought EZG, that wonderful tablet that apparently is finally operational. Did you ever think this moment would come? Let's see. Oh, Michael Albert says, damn, I was planning my Amanda McCarthy concert going today. Well, you'll just have to wait. I'm sorry. Tony D is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Tony D from Philadelphia, and of course, host of the Tony D Show, which returns in February. Tony says, from this point forward, whoever this... Oh, no. Wow. Looks like we have a little bit of a brawl or the gauntlet being thrown down. Tony D apparently having some kind of an issue with Dickie Grayson. Dickie Grayson, I think I've seen in our chat room here, but I know he often shows up in the morning show chat room. And, of course, much of what happens in the morning show chat room does carry over into this program's chat room and vice versa. So Tony D says, from this point forward, whoever this piece of crap Dickie Grayson is that's in the morning show chat, it's on now, buddy. Wow, what is this about? Degrading my wife and making comments about my unborn child not being mine? I don't play that, you punk? Wow, I missed all of this. Well, I'm going to have to go back and look at the morning show chat room. My goodness. Okay. Oh, boy. Yikes. Wow. Huh. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's... Huh. Michael Albert says Garth is a longtime liberal, though. I didn't know that about Garth Brooks. Referring to, if you're just joining us, I was talking earlier about Garth performing at the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Tony Petrello is in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Tony. Tony says, good afternoon, Matt. Jenny joins us in the Facebook live chat and says, shalom, peeps. Jenny, I don't know if you know, they were talking on the morning show a little bit about your interaction yesterday with Mike Doyle. And then Daryl Dion calling into the show. Daryl Dion actually called the program yesterday. If you missed it, of course, it's all up at WMNHradio.org, where all the shows are archived. There's a lot of talk about all this. Oh, Melanie Fedderson joins us in the Facebook live chat. Melanie says, I couldn't comment yesterday, but you were amazing. She's saying that to Jenny. She clearly on Team Jetty with that little dust up there with Mike Doyle. Tony D says, I called, and he's replying to Bobby Champagne because Bobby was asking what this is all about. Tony says, I called the morning show. Peter asked how the wife was feeling with the pregnancy, and he went on. Oh, and Dickie Grayson, apparently, he went in the chat room and talked about his wife and kid not being his? Wow. Yeah, I'm not aware of any of this. Tom Blanchard says, that's not cool, man. Not cool at all. Yeah, I agree. I don't know Dickie Grayson. I just know the name from the chat room. Bobby says, like I said, Tony, to me, the family is off limits. You can make fun of me all day, but leave my family alone. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. We have a call, first call of the show today. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Yo.
Is this Tony D?
Yes.
Hey, I wasn't sure it was you. I'm so used to hearing "hooah" or whatever it is that you. There we go. All right, it really is you. I just wanted to make sure it was really you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I get it. People don't like the whole Philadelphia dude calling the New Hampshire radio show. I'm not going to do it no more from this point forward.
Oh,
I'm not going to do it.
No.
Not going to do it.
No, we need you, Tony.
The comments that were left this morning. You might chew glass and you might spit bees, but I drink gas and I pee fire. So that's the difference. That's the difference. I will never, in my life, in my existence, ever speak on anyone's family because family is the most important thing.
Yeah,
and they come from a fake account. Because I went in, I went right to the profile. I sent a message directly to the profile to speak on my unborn child and degrade my wife in the chat room. I was going to let it go.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say nothing this morning because I'm just not. I'm not a very confrontational person anymore in my life.
Yeah.
But to make a comment about, hey Tony, are you sure that this kid is even yours? I'm not thinking it's yours.
Wow.
To put these comments in there and to make me look like an a-hole in front of all these people that are listening because you don't want me calling the radio station.
Well, don't.
That's the way you go about not wanting someone to call a radio show because you want to degrade them because they're having a kid.
Well, let me. So, Tony, just a couple things. First of all, I hope that you don't let this Dickie Grayson or whoever it is. I hope you don't let that person chase you off because.
Oh no! Like I said, I pee fire, man.
Yeah. Well,
it's game on.
Yeah, but because I enjoy your calls. I look forward to your calls. I assume Peter does as well. As far as I know, he likes you. And
yeah, no, I love all you guys at WMNH. I don't know if Paul T likes me. I'm not sure, but I love all you guys up there, dude. And I'm not here to promote. I'm here to support.
Yeah,
I'm here to support a good running radio show. I'm not here to promote anything, but to degrade someone, anyone's family.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
you're taking this too. Now it's personal.
Yeah,
like Peter said this morning. After Peter saw it, Peter made a comment like, I would really hate to see Dickie and Tony in an alleyway. Like I think even Peter knew like that was a little bit too far, but you took it a step above where you should have taken it.
Oh yeah.
And even though it's a fake account, I got an issue with it because if that's how you're going to treat your guys' listeners in that chat, that dude needs to be like banned, dude, because that's like unacceptable. Like no one should be disrespected like that.
Yeah.
And like me personally, I did. Like I usually don't take offense to it, but because it's an unborn child, and you took it to that level, like you got personal with me real quick. Right. Like the Tony D went away, and the Anthony Richard came out.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm sickened by it, dude. I'm sickened by it. It's been bothering me all day ever since I saw that because I never had someone say something like that to me.
Yeah.
I never had someone like degrade me and like make my wife look like a whore in a chat room.
Yeah. No, that's pretty low. I agree with you. But like I said, I hope you don't allow that to discourage you from calling because
I want him to call. I don't think this dude has ever called the station. I want him to call.
Yeah, I don't even know who he is. Like I said, I think I've seen him in my chat room a couple times, but not usually. But I think he's more of a morning show guy. But you mentioned something about not calling anymore. But from what I know, I think everybody.
Look, if I'm being a nuisance to the radio station, I don't want to be that guy that calls all the time.
You know what I mean? No, Tony. I enjoy your calls. I enjoy talking with you. I look forward to it. And from what I've seen generally in the Facebook live chat, I think the feeling about you is generally positive. So I got
love for everyone, man. I got love for everyone. I'll take my shirt off my back for anyone. I'll help anyone out.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to donate to Easy G this weekend.
Oh,
give him some
excellent.
more money so he can he can get his fundraisers up just because,
Yeah.
And I'm not a bad dude.
No.
I'm not one of these people that are a scumbag, Don't degrade me.
Right.
Don't degrade my family. Degrade me if you want. You can say what you want about me. I don't care. I don't really care what you say about me.
Sure.
But don't sit there and throw my unborn child in your mouth. You don't even know me, dude.
Yeah.
You don't even know me.
I agree. Texas Mike in the Facebook live chat says, "We love you, Tony D."
I love Texas Mike. He rocks. He wears my shirt with pride.
Miriam Banish. Miriam just said, "I like Tony D. He's from where I grew up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why this dude, whoever he is, stoops so low to hit me below the belt.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Now you believe that it's a fake account? You think it's somebody else?
100%. It's 100% a fake account. Dickie Grayson. It's like a Batman thing.
Oh, I wondered why the name was familiar to me.
Yeah, it's a Batman thing. It's a fake account.
Okay.
Because I sent a message right to the account. I said, listen, I don't know who you are. You don't know me. I said, but on a personal level, as men, I said, don't disrespect my wife. Don't disrespect my children. I said, the BS stops now. The BS stops now. I said, I'm not about that life. Not me.
Hey, you got Abigail Jem just said in the chat, who is messing with Tony D? Let me at him. You got a lot of supporters in there, dude. So don't let one jerk chase you off, please. Everybody loves you.
I love Abigail too. She's cool people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just why go below the belt like that this morning? Just because I called in to let Peter know, I called to let him know Godiva Chocolate is going out of business. I was like, unbelievable. The chocolate business is it's failing miserably.
Yeah,
that's what I called about because he was like, if you got something interesting to talk about, call. I was like, well, Godiva Chocolate's going out of business. All 200 stores are being shut down.
Oh.
He asked me how my wife is feeling. Next thing you know, I see a comment about my freaking kid. So, I don't know.
Is Bobby Champagne says, is that Robin's real name, Dickie Grayson? In Batman and Robin? Okay. I wondered why I was familiar. All right. So that makes sense then. That's just, it's just some troll, with nothing better to do, I guess. I would just ignore him. But I agree with you. I mean, that's a pretty low thing to do.
Yeah, just I don't know, man. Made me feel some type of way today. I just never been disrespected like that.
Yeah.
It's much even enemies from high school wouldn't even stoop that low.
Right.
And it was low. It was very low. To the point that I was wow, someone really went there with me today. In all my 33 years of life, I've never heard a comment like that ever towards someone. I mean, if you heard things on TV,
right,
the Maury Povich show or whatever, but I've never had it directed towards me. And then you say something about my wife and then my kid, in the same sentence, what?
Yeah,
it's just I don't know, man. It left me with a sour taste in my mouth to the point that I was really peed off.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. But, yeah, I would just ignore him. Don't let him get under your skin, whoever it is.
Yeah.
I don't...
Anyway.
Jenny says, Tony D equals family in the chat room. So there you go. There's some more support for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, anyway, man, I ain't going to flood you up with all this. I'm going to deal with this accordingly how I'm going to deal with it, and that's professional. But I just wanted to put it out there, you guys, Robert told me that it was a fake account, Dion. And
okay.
I guess he's been in that chat for multiple years. I guess that's what he does, but that was just way too rough. Like I've heard some things about Stacy, but this one was way below the belt on me.
Yeah, Rob Dion's in the chat room. He says certain Facebook trolls need to go away and cut it out. Well, he didn't say it exactly that way, but I had to edit that. But yep, so you got support from Rob Dion and from Tom Blanchard as well. Yeah, everybody's everybody in there is supporting you, dude. So we got your back.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, anywho, so I'm going to go listen to the show, and we'll go cool out. I was hoping he was going to be in there. That's why I was, kind of geeked up to be in the chat today.
Hey, it couldn't be Crazy Joe, could it?
It beats me, dude.
Beats
me. I mean, would it surprise me? No, not at all. But the way that that guy has it out for my show right now, it's unreal.
I wonder. Abigail says, yeah, Dickie Grayson is new, within the last 6 months. That's interesting. I wonder. I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy Joe does have it out for my show. So.
Yes, he has it out for all of us.
Yeah. So wouldn't surprise me, but
yeah,
we'll see, Matt. We'll see. We'll let the scandal of 2021 begin.
That's right. All right, my friend.
I'll talk to you.
All right, Tony. Thanks for the call. Take care. All right, the great Tony D from Philadelphia, and of course, host of the Tony D Show, which returns next month. Abigail says it's not Crazy Joe. Okay, well, you never know. You never know with Crazy Joe. He is crazy. Boy, you do meet some characters in this business, don't you? You do meet some characters, but no, I welcome Tony's calls. I enjoy Tony's calls, and I think we all do. I don't want to speak for everybody, but everybody likes Tony D. So don't let one jerk ruin your day. You know what I mean? We were talking about Q earlier. Michael Albert says in the chat, my take on Q is this. It's all a prank by Anonymous on 4chan. They started with pranking Scientology to see if they could get enough normies to join in and protest. This was initiated by the Tom Cruise video. When they discovered that they could crowdsource a movement, they turned the Pope the Frog meme, the Pepe the Frog meme, rather, into a conservative mascot. Manipulated the OK sign to be perceived as a white supremacist symbol to the point that it was adopted by white supremacists. Their first attempt at forming a conspiracy theory party was Kekistan, but it was too jokey to be taken seriously. Q was just mysterious enough to be adopted by people looking for conspiracy theories, but it's all a prank by 4chaners who take no responsibility for their actions. Interesting. Let's grab this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Q.
Oh, my goodness, Q. Well, your ears must have been burning. We were talking about you, Q.
Yeah, I got a call about it. That's why I came on. Somebody said you were mentioning me.
Now, what is this? You're on bad terms now with Alex Jones, apparently? He wants nothing to do with you, Q?
Not really. It's just a misunderstanding.
Okay. He said something about he doesn't
Alex
like...
Alex Jones is very good. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that guy.
Uh-huh.
He's really on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
And, I listen to these Democrats. They're all over. They're everywhere now. They're having a big celebration because, the witch is dead, right?
Mm. Well, that was part of Alex Jones, his complaints about QAnon. He said he doesn't like the witches and the warlocks and something about pumpkin possums or something. I didn't really understand what that part was about.
He's kind of an entertainer,
yes.
Alex Jones, So he kind of makes it up as he goes along. But, I'm going to give him a call, straighten this out, because Q is real. There's a lot of people. They think there's everything's a conspiracy, right? But between you and me, Matt,
yes,
and nobody else, just you and me.
Yeah, we're in a commercial.
There are real conspiracies out there.
There are.
Yeah, and like that storming of the Capitol, right?
Yes, yes.
What was that, right?
Well, according to the state Republican Party of Oregon, they have officially decreed that was a false flag operation and that it was set up to make the MAGA cult look bad.
Well, what do you think? You think that was real? You think that with Andrews Air Force Base, 5 miles from the Capitol, Bowling Air Force Base, 2 miles from the Capitol, Quantico Marine Base, and all these bases. They got helicopter squadrons. They got special forces with weapons that you can only dream about. You telling me they couldn't get to the Capitol? How long does it take to walk from the White House to the Capitol? 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You know how many blocks that is?
I actually don't know exactly.
It's 16 blocks.
Oh.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's 16 blocks.
Okay. It's a great way to remember it.
Yeah, of course, it is a great way to remember it. I've been there many times.
Yes.
I've met with Mr. Trump, in the White House, in the Oval Office. I've been there. I've told you I worked for him, and then we had a parting of the ways. This is what happens when there's a transition of power.
Yes.
But anyway, so all these protesters that Trump talked to, he told them, keep up the good fight. And all of a sudden that translates into he's inciting an insurrection at the Capitol. It's BS.
Well, I'm just surprised it got this far, Q. I mean, weren't other things supposed to happen, and then Trump was supposed to become an emperor or something, or whatever it is that
No, Trump's just trying to make America great again.
Oh,
That's
right,
his thing.
Right.
But these protesters, they had their own agenda. Everybody knew what was going to happen, right? You telling me all these people at the Capitol, they weren't a little bit worried about, I don't know how many people were at that White House when Trump gave the speech. There's a big number, right?
I think I asked you this before, Q. I don't remember what you said. Perhaps you evaded the question, but were you there that day?
Of course I was there.
You were there.
I wasn't the only one there. Believe me. The CIA was there. The FBI was there. The NSA was there. I recognized some of these guys. So, I mean, there were plenty of people there. Everybody knew what was going to happen. This wasn't a secret. And suddenly, they've got the lowest number of cops at the Capitol. What is that, right?
Right.
You got, 10,000 people walking down the street, 16 blocks. You telling me there can't be some helicopters there in front of the Capitol protecting it?
So what were you doing there, Q? Did you enter the building?
I work for people. I keep an eye on things.
Okay.
I got bills to pay. I got a mortgage.
I understand. Yeah, but who?
Yeah, so what I'm telling you is there really are conspiracies out there, but it's not like what you think.
Well, what do you mean, Q?
Well, the whole thing was a setup. I mean, you can call it a false flag operation, but it was a setup.
By who?
I mean, they knew the Capitol was going to be attacked.
Who knew? Everybody?
Everybody knew, except for the guy that said we don't need any special forces here. We don't need any National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
We can handle this on our own. That lasted for about 50 seconds. So they were overrun. But, the Capitol cops, everybody that's ever been in Washington, D.C. knows what they are. They're like museum guards,
Jenny says, did you say stag operation? I think you said false flag operation, right?
Well, that's what you said, right? You said it was
I said,
somebody in some distant country in Oregon claimed it was a false flag operator. They're having riots every day over there.
Yes,
I don't know what's going
Portland.
on there. The mayor, I heard he sprayed some bear spray in somebody's face.
Yes.
Or something, They were giving him a hard time. He's in a restaurant. He came out,
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on in this country?
Right.
I'm telling you, things are very messed up, though.
Yeah.
When
agree.
a bunch of people can just walk up to the Capitol and stroll in, looking for Nancy Pelosi, put up a gallows to lynch Mike Pence. Something is very wrong, right?
Well, I would look. I on that we agree, Q. Last time you called, you won me over on a few things. You might be able to do that again because on that we definitely agree. Yes, clearly something has gone awry.
Yeah, let me tell you something. There was something very wrong with that whole thing, and they wouldn't send the National Guard. Finally. There was some, Nancy Pelosi's making calls. She's calling, all the people that she brings into the House. And Schumer, he's shaking with fear. So he's calling the chief of staff of the military. They want to get some help. Nobody's helping him. What is that? It's the Washington, D.C. is the most heavily fortified city in the world.
I would hope so.
That's right. It's military bases everywhere. You telling me they can't get any help there? The whole thing is BS.
All right.
BS.
All right. But can you prove it, Q? Can you prove it?
See, that's it. Can you prove it? We're going to find out about it because Nancy Pelosi. Not that I like her much. When the crowd went in there, they wanted to get her.
Yes.
They wanted her.
Yes, they did. And Mike Pence. They wanted to hang Mike Pence.
Well, Pence, that was,
he was
they
probably
built the gallows for Pence. You see a picture of that gallows?
I did.
I was there. I saw it. It was a pretty nice gallows.
You like
gallows go?
Well, okay. I don't know how good
Nice
gallows
thick
go.
rope,
It
was a hanging day.
Yeah. Well, not quite. It almost was. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted Nancy, but they were just going to scare her.
Oh, okay.
They weren't going to really lynch her.
Okay.
They just wanted nervous Nancy to get scared.
Right. Well, I would certainly be afraid. A bunch of...
Yeah, well, AOC was afraid.
She was very afraid,
She thought she was going to be killed.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
AOC, she's a little bit of an actress, Did you watch her at all?
Is she a crisis actress?
Well, they're all, in Congress, they're all actresses and actors. They're playing to the crowd, but
yes.
AOC is, she's at a higher level.
Oh.
Did you ever see her dance?
Yes, I've seen that video.
AOC can dance.
That's right.
Very sexy. A very sexy dance.
Yeah, you kind of like her a little in that video, I bet there, don't you, Q? Kind of gives you a little different perspective.
I played it a few times,
I understood.
I played it a few times. Well, maybe I played it more than a few times.
Understood.
I thought she looked pretty good. She's got a nice figure.
Sure.
And she had a style.
She kind of won you over a little bit.
And she claimed that she was, 10 feet away from being killed. That's
right.
what she said. I think she's over-exaggerating it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, or maybe just exaggerating. I don't know if over-exaggerating, but
whatever.
Yeah, I'm picky
anyway,
about that.
there was AOC and there was Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence. I guess his family was there. Maybe they were going to lynch them all. I don't know what they had planned, but you know what?
Well, they only had one.
There wasn't
gallows.
a shot fired in the place.
I don't think that's correct. Wasn't?
No. By the protesters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They left all their guns in their pickup trucks. And the bombs.
Yeah.
They didn't bring anything into the car. Not even a can of spray paint.
I know.
That's what I'm telling you. The whole thing was it was like a setup. They were setting Trump up.
Oh, but who? Who was setting?
They let him come in.
Yeah.
They kind of invited him in.
Uh-huh.
The doors weren't exactly locked, and it was like a hot knife through butter. And they got in, and then all of a sudden they're in Nancy Pelosi's office stealing her laptop.
Yes, yes. Do you know anything about that, Q? I remember seeing that someone had taken her laptop, and I thought, Q.
Oh, they found it. They got trackers on all these things.
Okay,
they
so
got everything's being tracked.
I thought maybe
they know who these protesters are. I mean, these, you know, it was kind of embarrassing. You know, I mean, they're taking selfies of themselves. They're taking pictures.
Yeah.
And you know, the NSA, they got everything. They got the location. They triangulate. They've got the pictures. You know, the FBI's got 2,000 pictures of the protesters that got into the building, and they're inviting people to identify these protesters so they can come and arrest them. And they're not going to see the light of day for 5 years. You know, you can't walk into the Capitol like that.
Well,
so they're going to turn these people into martyrs.
But Q, doesn't that put you in a potentially precarious position? What if you're in one of those photos because you were there?
I was in disguise.
Okay.
You know, nobody's going to recognize me. You've never seen my picture, have you?
No, now that you mention it, I've just seen
you've never seen a picture of Q.
the letter Q. I've never actually seen.
And QAnon, the whole thing. You know, Alex Jones has never seen a picture of Q.
That's a great
point.
We've
only talked on the phone.
Okay, all right.
That's how I communicate with people. But listen, there's something I wanted to talk to you about, and it's kind of serious.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
I've been watching Biden.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was kind of hoping for something not quite as weak as it is.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, every day he's signing executive orders. It's kind of like watching Trump, you know?
Yeah.
It's an executive order, every 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Rolling back the executive orders that Trump wrote.
Right. Trump rolled back the executive orders of Obama, and it goes on and on, Q. On and on.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think America was kind of hoping for something else, something a little more dramatic. But, Sleepy Joe, he can't get out of his own way. I mean, the guy, he gets on TV and he starts trailing off into incoherence.
Well, I think he's been.
I watched him today, and then there was Kamala, the Tamala, on TV. She's getting another vaccine.
Yeah, she got her second dose. Yes, I believe it's pronounced Kamala.
Tamala?
Kamala. Think of it as like the comma, and punctuation, comma, Kamala.
Kamala the Tamala, that's what I call her.
Okay.
Tamil. A Tamil is an Indian. But, I'm not even sure I believe that, because I look at Kamala Harris, and she reminds me of the women that I used to know that were sitting in the sun in Miami Beach.
Okay.
I used to hustle these women, because they're always looking for men. Their husbands died. She reminded me of that crowd down there in Miami Beach with a nice tan,
Uh-huh. Oh.
But she wears the pantsuits, like Hillary Clinton.
You probably don't like that. You probably don't like the pantsuit.
No, I don't. I don't want to remember Hillary Clinton.
I understand.
And whenever I think of Hillary Clinton, there's this sentence that starts banging around in my head, You know the sentence. What about Benghazi?
Oh, right. And her emails.
Yeah. And then what about the server?
Yeah, I know, right?
They never found it.
No, it's probably in Benghazi somewhere.
I think they put it into a giant Moulinex to grind it up, and then they threw it on the White House lawn or in front of the State Department or something.
Yes. You might be onto something.
But, the thing about Tamala, Kamala getting the shot, When is it going to be our turn, Matt? Did you get it? Did you get a vaccine yet?
Oh, no. I'm the way things are going, I'm guessing sometime in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, the rollout's not exactly what we expected, is it?
No. It's pretty bad, but hey, whatever. It's not like it's super important or anything. It's not like this is the one thing we really needed them to get right. I mean, they had that one guy from Trump's task force come out and say, "Oh, sorry, my bad." So whatever.
Exactly. Trump, he just, he got the virus. He got it. He got the COVID.
Yes, he did.
He just shook it off though, like a real man.
Right. Yes. You know what it is, Q?
2 days into it, he just got into the limousine and he's just waving to the crowd.
That's
they
right.
love him. People love Donald Trump.
Yes, they do. Because Donald Trump.
How many votes he get, Matt? How many votes he get? 74 million votes?
Thereabouts. Yes. Well,
that's love, man.
That is. But what about But Joe Biden got more. Joe Biden got even more.
Yeah, if you believe the number. You believe it?
I personally do believe it, Q, but I have a feeling that you question the numbers.
Well, I wasn't there counting the votes. I did get a little bit nervous about all those absentee ballots.
Uh-huh.
The state of Pennsylvania sent out 1 billion ballots. You know that, right?
Oh, yes. They sent out a lot of ballots.
Billion with a B.
Right. A billion, huh?
Yeah, so, you send all those ballots into minority neighborhoods, and you know what's going to happen. They're going to all get filled out, and they're going to be sent in the mail. And all of a sudden, Joe Biden wins Pennsylvania by 1 billion votes.
Uh-huh.
But it's okay. I'm good with it because this is even better for America. You get the argument. You get the argument from the right, you get the argument from the left, and you get, the Q people.
The Q people,
believe
yes.
there really are conspiracies out there, like the one we saw at the Capitol.
Right.
Because I don't think in the most heavily fortified city in the world, a bunch of yahoos from the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers are going to get through the door.
Wow. So Q, you're not.
That make any sense to you?
Q, you're not. So you've surprised me here. So you're not sympathetic to the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers? You call them yahoos?
I ain't saying that.
Okay.
I ain't saying I'm not sympathetic.
You called them yahoos.
I'm just saying they let him in. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And you know why they let him in?
Why?
They let him in so they could blame Donald J. Trump.
Mm-hmm. But who's they?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes.
That's a very good question, Matt. Finally, Matt, after talking to you for 2 years on the radio, you're starting to ask the right question.
Thank you. That's why I'm in afternoon drive.
Yeah. Who are they?
Who are they?
The deep state, Matt. The people who are really running things,
Yes.
The men behind the curtain.
Right. Well, you're not supposed to pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. Or the
all
men.
those protesters, they walked down the yellow brick road, Pennsylvania Avenue, just strolled into the White House, and they were actually pretty calm. Did you ever see it on TV? They're just strolling into that main hallway with all the statues of the presidents.
Uh-huh. They were hoping to find the wizard, and the wizard could grant them all brains.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And they didn't even rough anybody up.
Well,
the whole thing was like a dance.
There actually was some death, but we need.
Well, it was an accident.
Sure.
Some trigger-happy Capitol policeman freaked out, and he shot a woman in the throat. I mean, why are the cops always shooting to kill? What is that?
Whoa! Well,
why do they shoot somebody in the kneecap like the mob?
Whoa! Well, so cute. Now that's interesting. So you, I assume then it sounds like you're in favor of police reform and.
Well, I just don't see the need to kill a woman, because she's climbing through a window. It's a little over the top, don't you think?
Well, I suppose it depends on the circumstance. Yeah. But
well, according to AOC, she was, 30 seconds away from being killed, but I don't think so.
Right.
Unfortunately, there was that one woman that was shot, and I don't know, some crazy protester hit a cop in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he not everybody is, you get into a false flag operation, sometimes people get over exuberant.
Right. Is that what it is? They're over exuberant. Yes.
Yeah, it's irrational exuberance.
Yes.
Over irrational exuberance.
Yes, I believe
over the top.
Heard that
And
phrase.
that cop, unfortunately, he died. It's a great tragedy. But you know what? They're blaming Donald Trump for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's trying to make you, Matt.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Well, I don't know what
You
to.
understand me?
I don't know what to say, Q. I mean, will Donald?
Is responsible. That's the Democrat narrative.
So will Donald Trump be back?
But what I'm telling you is they lured him into the Capitol. They let him in there.
Yes.
So and they didn't even do much damage.
Right.
Somebody spray painted obscenities on the wall. There was none of that.
That's true. I thought they were going to bring in spray cans and spray paint the NWO everywhere.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to get into the Capitol,
yeah,
there'd be little baggies of gasoline on me, and I'd set the place on fire like the British did.
Wow!
You want to make a statement? You don't go in there and sit at Nancy Pelosi's desk.
Right.
I mean, what kind of protest is that?
Well, maybe
I remember the protest. I'm old enough to remember the 1960s. Burn, baby, burn. Remember?
Well, I would think, though, Hugh, that you would not have approved of the protests that went on in the 60s.
Why not?
Well, I would have assumed that you were...
You think the Vietnam War was a good idea?
Well, you strike me
Let me
as...
tell you something. Trump hated the Vietnam War.
Well, that is true.
Or he would have been in there fighting.
He certainly would have been. Yes.
Bone spurs and all.
He would have, right. If only it had been a just war, he would have been right in there doing battle. I believe it.
I mean, everything's pretend, Matt.
Yes.
Every number the government puts out is pretend.
Uh-huh.
That whole Capitol thing doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
The most important building in Washington, D.C. gets breached by a bunch of lunatics from the Oath Keepers, and the military can't keep them out?
So are you saying that...
Because somebody's having lunch?
But
and they can't take the call? I mean, think about it.
But I need clarification. Okay, so clarify one thing for me, Q. So are you saying that they intentionally let these people in, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, or are you saying that it wasn't actually the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and maybe it was Antifa? Is that what you're trying to say?
It doesn't even matter who it was.
Oh.
Whoever got in there, got in there.
Right. Well, that
and
yes,
they
did.
And it was a big show.
Yeah.
You think they built the gallows out of cement that was laying against the Capitol? That the whole thing was planned.
Well, I assume that the gallows was as they built it.
It's a great photo op,
Yeah.
And the people, you see the photos and the video of the people climbing up the wall.
Yes.
That's a great shot, right?
That is, especially I love the video.
It's all video.
The person falling.
The whole thing was staged. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not what you think.
Okay.
People, they look at this stuff, and the average Americans, they think, wow, how could this be happening in my country?
Right.
But the whole thing was planned, and everybody's cooperating, and it's like a dance.
Yeah.
Believe me, if there were 10,000 people banging on the doors of the Capitol trying to get in, I don't think Nancy Pelosi would have been able to slip away.
Right.
I mean, this was not a serious effort. There were no bombs in the Capitol, right?
Well, thank
They left
goodness.
him in the pickup.
Yeah.
There were no guns in the Capitol. They left him in the pickup.
Yeah.
And the Capitol Police, they could have stopped it immediately, right?
Well, it seemed that they were a bit outnumbered and overrun, but that's because they were waiting for the...
I mean, they did have... people respond to lead poisoning, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. Boy.
They laid down a line of fire. They got some weapons in the, it's not just, they didn't just pull out the Glocks. They got automatic weapons in there. They get trained in them. They could have laid down a line of fire, and that's the end. They didn't do it.
Right.
The whole thing is BS. That's what I'm telling you. They're right. Oregon's not right about much, but, they're right about it being a false flag operation. Because they're trying to blame Trump. They're trying to put it on Trump.
Yes.
Now, personally, I think Trump was kind of sick of that job.
Yeah. I think he was sick of it as soon as COVID-19 hit.
Yeah, he definitely had some bad luck there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the COVID-19 thing. You know, I mean, the China virus, as he calls it.
Right.
But you know, Matt. Things are not the way you seem. This is what I want to leave you with, okay?
Yes.
On your show.
Some words of
there
wisdom.
There really are conspiracies out there.
Yes.
Now, the left, the radical left, the Dems, the Democrat Party, you know, they make fun.
Uh-huh.
They make fun of everybody else. You know, we're all conspiracy nuts. We're all, you know, with Q. We're worshiping Q.
Right.
But it's not like that.
Oh.
There are real conspiracies out there, and that Capitol thing, that was a conspiracy.
Okay. All right, Q.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. I see you got a guest there. He's got some kind of helmet on. He might be one of the Oath Keepers. I don't know.
I certainly hope not. I'm probably in terrible danger if he is.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's not a helmet. Maybe it's something else.
Yeah. Well, perhaps we'll find out.
Okay, well, listen, I just wanted to drop in. I heard you talking about me. Somebody gave me a call.
Yes.
So, I'm just checking in and, trying to give you a little information, okay?
All right, Q. Thank you for the call. Stay safe.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye-bye. Wow, we hearing once again from the mysterious Q. Well, there you go. Some folks in the Facebook live chat, they're questioning, I think, the sanity of Q. But, if you missed it, I did play it at the top of the show. But we know what Alex Jones thinks of Q.
He broke all that. We know that. I'm saying Q tells us stuff and all of it's lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of That's why. Because every thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, there's energy, and now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, and I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin popsums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus Christ. Lord help.
I did try to ask Q, by the way, about the witches and warlocks. I'm genuinely, and the, what is it, a pumpkin popsum? I don't know what that means. I need to Google that. Anyway, we are past the top of the hour. Let's take a break, and we will be back. More Matt Connarton Unleashed coming up. Don't go away. Everybody, we are well into hour 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Of course, today is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. If you'd like to give us a call, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can also go to mattconnerton.com and click Listen Live, and that brings you all the contact info for the show. Boy, there's a lot going on. Almost don't know where to go next, but might talk a little bit about, since it came up during our conversation with the mysterious Q, what happened in Oregon. But, of course, I want to remind you we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. They have delicious gourmet pretzels. That's kind of their thing. Of course, they have craft beer. They have wine. It's a great place. Tomorrow night, They're closed today, Monday and Tuesday as their weekend, but tomorrow night, of course, is trivia night, as they do every Wednesday at the Hop Knot. It's a great place. Remember, wear your Hop Knot mask, and you get 10% off your order there. Let's see. This is the thing that I was referring to for anyone who missed it. So the Oregon Republican Party, the official party, calls the Capitol riot a false flag operation to discredit the GOP and to silence Trump supporters. Now, the reason this is significant is because, this isn't some fringe people with a YouTube account, just making up nonsense about this. This is the official state Republican Party of Oregon who has decided this. And, we see crazy stuff. If you're here in New Hampshire, sometimes we see crazy stuff come out of the state house here, or the state Republican Party here might do. I'll just give you a quick example. So Jack Kimball, who has been a guest on the show, although not for a long time, but he used to be the head of the Republican Party of New Hampshire. And he has claimed publicly on more than one occasion that Barack Obama was personally financing ISIS during the Obama administration. So you get this in state Republican parties where the fringe ends up being in control, or what you hope is the fringe. But I've been talking about for years this, and we're really seeing the fruits of it now, the consequences of it now, this melding of conservatism and right-wing conspiracy theorism that has taken hold in the Republican Party. Something like I saw a poll a couple of days ago that showed 85% of Republicans in the United States still support Trump, and more than 70% of Republicans in the United States actually do believe, despite no evidence, that that Biden and the Democrats actually stole the election from Donald Trump. And I say with no evidence because, Rudy Giuliani hanging out at Four Seasons Lawn Care or whatever it is and landscaping, just spewing out all this nonsense, doesn't add up to evidence, because the reason all these cases keep getting dismissed in courts is that once they get into a court of law where you can't just spew things that to be lies, right? It's perfectly legal to lie to the media, and you can have your little press conferences and lie to the media all day long. But once you're in a courtroom, if you lie and you get caught lying, you've committed perjury. You might end up in prison. So you have to be a little bit careful about what you say. And of course, Rudy Giuliani's in an interesting position now in that he's being sued for, I think, $1.3 billion by Dominion, the company that makes those voting machines that Giuliani kept claiming were tampered with, and Dominion was in on the big scam and whatnot, thus tarnishing their reputation. But again, he just, he thinks it's okay to say all this stuff to the media as long as you don't repeat it in court, because if it's BS, if you repeat it in court, like I said, there's consequences. But he seemed to have forgotten, perhaps because he's a crazy old man, that there can be consequences to saying these things to the media as well. For example, if you're committing defamation and libel, I guess it would be defamation. Libel would be if it's in writing and you're writing something for the media. But certainly defamation, and that's what he's being sued for now. So there's consequences to that. But look, it's like I said, like I've been saying, this seems to have really taken over the Republican Party, this conspiracy theory stuff. But we saw it. We saw the full rise of it, I think, or we saw the beginnings of it really rising and taking over during the Obama administration, when all of a sudden you had, mainstream, it became mainstream for Republicans to spout conspiracy theories. I mean, Fox News, I remember actually before the Obama presidency, during the campaign, during Barack Obama's campaign for president back in 2008, there was a campaign event where a big deal was made of this at the time. Michelle Obama introduces Barack Obama, who's going to come up and speak at the podium, and they fist bump, before it was more appropriate to do that because of COVID. They did a quick fist bump as Barack Obama was going up to the podium. And the next morning, because I used to subject myself to a lot more Fox News then. Actually, at that time, I was working part-time at a gym up in Laconia called Pinnacle Fitness. It's long, long gone. But my old friend Mike Zacchio was the owner there. And, Fox was on that morning in the gym. And they were actually talking, again, this is, mainstream media, right? It's conservative media, but it's mainstream media. They were actually having a discussion the next morning starting on Fox and Friends and the news programs that followed, trying to figure out if that was a, quote, terrorist fist bump. I'm not kidding. If you don't believe me, if you think I'm being hyperbolic with any of this, it's on YouTube. You can find it easily. It happened. They were actually having these conversations on the air on Fox News. Was this a terrorist fist bump? Were they somehow signaling to Al Qaeda with this on Fox News? Not on InfoWars, Alex Jones, whatever, on Fox News, a mainstream cable news network. They also were fond of anytime there was I shouldn't say anytime. I don't know that they did this multiple times, but I know they did it at least once. And you can probably find this on YouTube, too, if you don't believe me. There was a story about Michelle Obama, and they actually, on the chyron, and if you don't know what chyron means, that's, the graphics and words that you see on the screen, at the bottom of the screen, or at the top, but usually at the bottom of the screen during a newscast. They actually referred to Michelle Obama as Obama's baby mama, which was incredibly disrespectful. And as a friend of mine put at the time, he said, this is Fox attempting to ghettoize the Obamas by referring to Michelle Obama as Obama's baby mama. That happened. That's real. But the conspiracy theory stuff, they really, Fox was a big part of that. Like openly speculating, was that some sort of signal to Al Qaeda? Michelle Obama and Barack Obama fist bumping. And of course there was all the birther stuff, right? And all kinds of other conspiracy theories. That's why I always think it's funny when Republicans will, if people would be critical of Trump during the Trump administrations, all these Republicans who would say, well, hey, you shouldn't be so critical. You have to respect the office. It's like, oh, really? How did Republicans respect the office for the 8 years that Barack Obama was president? Well, they said he was a terrorist. They said he was born in Kenya and therefore an illegal president. Let's see. They said he was actually a CIA operative. They claimed Michelle Obama was transgender. It goes on and on and on. I mean, really, I don't want to hear that respect the office stuff from Republicans ever. Not after 8 years of Obama and all the terrible things that they would say about him. That, again, rooted in conspiracy theories. And I guess, as the country's first black president with a funny last name, he was ripe for the picking with that nonsense. But anyway, so I say all that to say this is not a new thing. What we have now with QAnon, a lot of Republicans buying into that, and these other conspiracies is not new. This is sort of, so what Oregon has done, the state Republican Party of Oregon, this is not a shock. I mean, it's bizarre, it's troubling, but it's not a shock. This is kind of what the Republican Party has become. And that's not to say, by the way, that that's all Republicans. Of course, that's not all Republicans. Mike Doyle, in one of the emails, which we never got to that, maybe we still will if we have time. But Mike Doyle, in one of his emails, he said, you got to stop lumping all Republicans in as though we all think the same thing. And but I know that not to be true. I know you don't all think the same thing. I know you're not all ridiculous and crazy and conspiracy theorists, because if I thought that, I would never vote for a Republican ever, right? If that's what I thought. In the last election, he was the only Republican I voted for, but I did. I voted for Governor Chris Sununu, governor of New Hampshire. He's a Republican. I voted for him. I voted for him partly because he's a Republican who is not a crazy conspiracy theorist. So, no, I don't lump you all in together. I know you're not all crazy if you're Republicans. I know you're not all conspiracy theorist lunatics. I'm starting to get the vibe that most of you are, to be honest with you, but I know that some of you aren't. And Chris Sununu is not. So I voted for him. But I will tell you, from my perspective, it does say something a little troubling about the Republican Party when, you know, the guy who doesn't seem completely insane and unhinged from reality seems like an outlier. You know, there was a time when I might have thought that somebody like Chris Sununu was kind of what a normal, average, typical Republican was, and these other people are more on the fringes, but I don't think that anymore. You know, when more than 70% of Republicans buy into the idea that the election was stolen, you know, I have to assume those are, you know, conspiracy theorists, right? Because they believe in this conspiracy that has no basis in reality. I mean, don't get me wrong, by the way. I know there are scattered instances of election fraud. They found in Pennsylvania, they did find a case of it in Pennsylvania. I think they found one case. Oh, by the way, it was somebody who was trying to, you know, make it so his dead mother or grandmother or somebody voted for Trump. So, yes, they caught a Republican committing voter fraud in Pennsylvania. So do with that what you will. But here's the story from the Hill. The Oregon Republican Party earlier this month approved and released a resolution calling the January 6th Capitol riot by pro-Trump supporters a false flag operation and condemning Republicans who voted to impeach now former President Trump over his role in the assault. The resolution claims, without proof, that there is, quote, growing evidence that the Capitol attack that left 5 dead was a false flag event meant to, quote, discredit President Trump, his supporters, and all conservative Republicans, unquote. The statement says, quote, if we had time, I'd do a dramatic reading, but we don't have time. Maybe tomorrow. But here's part of the statement, quote, this provided sham motivation to impeach President Trump in order to advance the Democrat goal of seizing total power, unquote. The resolution goes on to rebuke the 10 House Republicans, none of whom are from Oregon, who joined every Democrat in the chamber in voting to impeach Trump on January 13. Quote, our party is speaking out in condemnation of the profound betrayal by the 10 House Republicans who supported impeaching President Trump last week without any investigation, hearing, shred of due process, and in contradiction to the known and emerging facts, unquote, said Oregon Republican Party Chairman Bill Currier. By the way, just an observation about this. You know, this is an argument that we're hearing a lot from people who oppose the impeachment and oppose the prospect of convicting Trump and then voting to bar him from ever running again. When you talk about these people who are voting on this without any investigation or evidence presented to them, I would just remind everyone, you're talking about people who were there. Who literally were there and experiencing this as it was happening, as they were going to their underground bunkers and safe rooms and whatever. They were there, which does raise an interesting legal question, however, because another thing that has that I've heard being argued a little bit, which is interesting to me, against the impeachment of Trump is that how can you, I think Alan Dershowitz might have said something like this, and I'm not saying I agree with him. I mean, I think Trump did incite what happened, and I think he should be convicted, and I think he should be barred from ever running again. That's what I believe. But just to play devil's advocate, I do think it's interesting. Someone, it might have been Dershowitz, it might have been somebody else, but somebody brought up the point that how can you have these people voting on whether or not to convict Trump when they were also the victims of what happened. So you have, you know what I mean? Because they were the ones who were endangered. Well, they weren't the only ones who were endangered, obviously, right? Other people died who were not in Congress, members of Congress. But you have people who were endangered by what happened that day, who are also going to be the ones who vote. So it's almost like they're both victims and witnesses and the jury all at the same time. And that's not how this is supposed to work. Again, I don't really buy that argument, but I think it's an interesting argument that I've heard one or two people make. It's like you can't have the same people voting to convict who are also witnesses and who are also the victims in this incident. But I think the problem where that kind of falls apart is, well, I think it falls apart in a few ways. And again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal scholar of any kind. So, and some of you are probably thinking, yeah, Matt, we kind of noticed. So, again, I speak only as a layman, but I think logically where that falls apart is, well, first of all, they were not the only victims. It wasn't just Congress, right? There's other people who died in this, but also too, this is not a court of law. This is government. It has its own rules. There are rules, nothing about how an impeachment works and how a Senate trial works exactly matches up with how it works in a regular court of law, so it's a different animal anyway. So, but I do think it's, I think it's interesting. I think some of the arguments around this are interesting. By the way, too, I would say my prediction is partly based on today's events because most senators voted that this is unconstitutional, right? So I think what's going to happen is you've got some senators who will vote for impeachment, including, I still think Mitch McConnell will vote to convict. They already impeached him in the House, I'm sorry, but in the Senate they will vote to convict, but not enough of them to convict. So they're not, because they need a supermajority to do this. They need 17 Republican senators to vote with presumably all of the Democrats to convict him. They're not going to get that. I don't think they're going to get near that. So that will be the end of the line for this whole process. Which is not to say that they shouldn't go through with it, because, I'm a big believer in accountability. You have to hold people accountable. If you just say, well, we're just going to, there's no point in doing this, so we're just not going to do anything. Well, you don't want to give future presidents this idea that, well, in the last days of your presidency, you can do whatever you want, because then once you're not president anymore, there's no point in holding you accountable. So it's fine. So you have to do this regardless, right? You have to try. It says here, well, actually here, there's some verbiage in this article. Okay, so it says pro-Trump rioters stormed the Capitol on January 6th in a failed attempt to prevent Congress from certifying the Electoral College victory of President Biden, who Trump repeatedly and falsely claimed won the November election through widespread fraud. Now and then there's some verbiage here specifically from Trump. And this was included in in one of the emails that I got from Mike Doyle. So I'll read this. He said, quote, "We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard." But again, that's on top of all this rhetoric about the election was stolen and on top of what Giuliani had said and Don Jr. had said. So I do believe that, as well, my position on it. It does say here, I'm skipping down a little bit because we're running short on time. Although it is unlikely that enough GOP senators will vote to convict the former president, many have sharply condemned his actions ahead of the deadly riot, including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who said Trump provoked the insurrectionists. Oregon's resolution calls it a sham impeachment that takes away from more pressing issues. Well, that's why, I mean, as far as it taking away from more pressing issues, they may actually have a point there, only in the sense that what is going on in the I don't know what's going on in the chat. We'll have to look at that in a moment. I think a fight's broken out. But if this is a dead end, and it is, most likely it is, just like the original impeachment, I would like to see them get this done and dispense with it quickly, because there is so much to do. We've got to get that COVID relief package done, right? And the rest of Biden's cabinet confirmed. So there is much to do. This is a critical time. So in the interest of pragmatism, because I am a pragmatic, practical person, I would like to see this dispensed with quickly. I just want to, what is going on? This might be something I have to look at later. What the heck? I'm going to have to, I don't know what's happening. Something to do with our friend Stacey Lawton, I think. I'm going to have to look at that. That's too much to get in here. And, of course, our listeners who are just listening to the audio who can't see the, wow. I don't know what happened. Something to do with Stacey Lawton. I'm going to have to look at this after the show. All right. Anyway, if you are just joining us, we've got about 20 minutes left in today's show. You're tuned in to Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Easy G will be joining us tomorrow, either by phone or by Skype, for his entertainment report. He was not feeling well today, but if you'd like to call, you've got a little bit of I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by the Facebook chat. I don't know what's going on. But if you'd like to get in with a call, 603-250-6007 is the number. I did want to, my internet's freezing up here. I did want to talk about the the latest round of executive orders, but, well, let's grab this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
I'm trying to figure it out.
What's going on?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay.
You know what I do want to talk about, though?
What?
All the stuff that's gone on today, I feel like it's been, rolled over with a tank, but there's, such huge stuff that happened today in earnest, in real work towards social, racial justice, to have people be treated more equally, to have more equal justice, in that we've had a female of a minority now in the city, up in the DOJ, that we have real action being played towards, stopping to pick on Asian people. What is up with us in America? I thought we were better than this. China flu, really? Attacking people because they appear to you to be Asian, and you're equating them to this disease. It's so terrible that we've been in that place. And here today, so much happened to bring us more towards real, true, actual equality, like for real.
Well, I'm watching. I was just going to say, I don't know all of what was in these executive orders regarding criminal justice reform. I was kind of looking at it as I was, because the news was coming in on this as I was getting on the air. One thing that did jump out at me just as I was quickly looking at things was Biden is discontinuing contract renewals with private prisons, which I think is very positive, because that's something too that I think probably has bipartisan support, because I know a lot of Republicans who have been open to ending private prisons have come over to the correct side of that issues, and of course libertarians as well, along with many Democrats who don't like private prisons, because private prisons have a much higher recidivism rate, because, when you have a for-profit criminal justice system, I mean, that's why we still have the war on drugs, right? Because we have to keep those prisons nice and full. And I think ending private prisons and the private prison industrial complex is a very positive move.
And that's just one piece of it all. Also included in that same signature is to respect tribal sovereignty.
Yes.
To stop trying to take land away from Native Americans. I mean, it's insane, but it still happens.
Yes.
To start looking at federal housing policies, to address xenophobia, to address violence specifically against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who have been targeted by people who bought into Trump's China virus, China flu crap. That it's horrendous. I mean, people, listen to yourselves. You want to tell me what the difference is? And I'm going to say something that I swore I never would, and now I can't help it. You want to tell me what the difference is by you doing that to somebody that's Asian, by you blaming this illness on them personally, you attacking them with racial slurs and comments. How is that any different than attacking the Jewish man walking out of his store, his bakery, to walk up to go home, and you go after him and you say, you're the trouble, you're the reason my business isn't working, you're the reason my family doesn't have what it should, you take what we should have. There's no difference in that. And I swore that I would never go there, because I never imagined that this would really get to that level. But God damn, didn't it? Wow, didn't it freaking go there? God.
Yeah.
Please wake up, America.
What was that? What was the substance of that executive order that we're
it's actually
addressing?
Quite
that?
large. I mean, I've been trying to read up on it, and there's a lot to read into this. There's 4 new executive orders, and part of it is a phase out of private prisons. So it's a setup, a directing to just phase out of them, recommitting the government to respecting tribal sovereignty, directing agencies to mitigate racial biases in federal housing policies, and to address xenophobia and violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So it's definitely got some meat in there. Susan Rice, as you know, she's appointed on the Domestic Policy Council, and it was something to sit there and watch her earlier today. And when she first started speaking, she was so freaking real. I mean, just real, Maddie. She's like, I'm the descendant of immigrants from Jamaica and Americans who were enslaved. She said that while she's standing there, while she's now going to be the head of Biden's Domestic Policy Council. A woman, the descendant of slaves, is now in a position of serious authority for justice in the judiciary system, in our criminal justice system, and all of those things that go along with that. I mean, it's so much. And what I love about it is it's real. oh God, it's real. Like, it's really happening. It isn't words. It isn't I will or I can. It is I am. You know, he said, I will restore protections for the LGBTQ plus community. And he did, in fact, just do what he was saying he was going to do. He did, in fact, come in and really reinstate LGBTQ members of our society who served our country.
Yeah, in the military,
were removed from service because of who they are.
I remember when Trump did that, too, how bizarre it was. It was like he just tweeted it out late on a Friday afternoon. I think the news broke during the show when he didn't even consult with anybody. And allegedly nobody in the military thought there was an issue that needed to be fixed, but he just one day just tweets out, you know, effective whatever date, you know, no more transgender people in the military. And it was like, what are you doing, dude? It was so bizarre.
Right. And it's just, and the big thing too is that Biden and Rice are going one step further. They're also talking about how these policies that have been in place during the Trump administration have affected the LGBTQ community. They've also affected religious minorities, people with disabilities. A lot of people have gotten marginalized. A lot of our communities have gotten marginalized over the last 4 years. Our communities of color are unfortunately not alone in that arena. You know, people with disabilities have gotten all kinds of stuff, religious minorities. I mean, people in this country within the last 4 years were defending people for burning the books of other people's faith. I mean, that doesn't even apply in my life, but just the thought of it makes me nauseated.
Yeah.
Like, how can that be my America? Come on. You know, I mean, the priority seems to really be, oh my God, really be trying to make further strides for real equality. And I really think a lot of it comes down to us as human beings being willing to stand there and go, I have room to grow in this. Teach me more about you.
Right.
Like, what is it that I'm not getting? Teach me, help me learn about you. Let me grow my mind. Let me learn how to look at my world differently. And that's what we're doing now successfully. It's taken a long time to get here, but this feels like a real crossroads. This election was that crossroads, and we are now on a trajectory to have a much more unified nation that's looking out for one another, you know, to what the American dream really was about. And no more of this us and them and red and blue. Oh, God, I could do forever to never hear so much hate and vitriol again.
Yeah.
I need peace in my world.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know you do too, but it's just phenomenal to see him really making things happen.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, this is real. It's not just talk.
Yeah.
And it's weird for me because I didn't like this guy. I didn't want to like this guy.
Oh, I know.
I did not like this man when he was vice president. Nope. Now I can't soak in his words enough. I can't hear the calmness in his voice and the strength in his words and the action behind it enough to go, God, please, I need this.
Yeah, I mean, he is a calming presence, and I saw a poll that showed his approval rating is well over 60% right now. Of course, you know, he's in that honeymoon period. I mean, that will inevitably come down as it would for any president, but I think there's probably a lot of people. I mean, obviously, for him to have won as bigly. I don't think I'd ever use that word pre-Trump.
I'm going to get you. I'll burn your mouth out. Don't you say that.
For him to have won as big as he did, obviously there were some Republicans who crossed over and voted for him, and you know, and independents. But I think probably a lot of people are. That's what they wanted, was some sense of calm and stability. You know, instead of just a lot of crazy tweets and just, you know.
Well, you know, that's all we've heard is lip service. And now, instead of lip service, he's done the one thing to guarantee that he would be true to his promise. He put the people who are affected by it in the positions to tell people how to fix what's wrong in their community.
Yeah.
He didn't, you know, he's putting people in the community to understand the community can be there and really represent and really look out for their well-being, and you know it's true. You know it's real because they are a member of the community too. They've got skin in the game, and you feel that. All too long in our history as America, we're finally crossing that bridge where we don't have to be ruled by old white crotchety men. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. By diversifying our government, we are becoming more equal and more liberty-oriented and more free and more constitutionally correct.
Although, in fairness, Joe Biden is an old white man.
Yeah, but you know what? He's an old white man that finally got it. Yes. The man stood there, and the day I said that I really felt respect for that man was when he stood there and said, I was wrong about the 1984 crime bill.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. He said that. The man said that. My whole life, I have wanted to hear some elected somebody say the truth, say I'm wrong, and I learned to look at it differently because I can do that. Granted, I'm not a real politician. I only served for 4 years and ran away.
Right.
But I learned, and I'm willing to, I learned why I don't believe in the death penalty anymore, and I would absolutely support abolishing it. I learned why I changed that feeling for the same reasons I used to believe in it, only I learned that too many innocent people were getting hurt. And this is why it can't be in our society. No life is worth the risk.
Bobby points out in the chat room, Trump has never said those words, that he was wrong. And that's true.
And that, exactly. And very rarely do we ever hear it from our elected Congress critters or whoever we're talking about. But Biden literally had the strength of character to stand there and say, I was wrong, and I want to fix it now. And you know what? I want to fix it so much that I'm going to take a woman of descent from slaves, and I'm going to put her in a position of authority to make sure that people of color are not marginalized and are not treated horribly by our judiciary system. He put his money where his mouth is, and this man has gained my respect in immense ways that I would have never imagined I would have felt before. But if he keeps this up for the next 4 years, oh, man, America's got a golden ticket forward, boy. If we can all just get on board and let's make it happen, because his success is our success. Bottom line, he's the president for the next 4 years. If you want him to fail, you want our country to fail. Right. A real patriot would never say that.
Yeah, true. Well said. All right, Jenny. Well, we're about out of time, so thank you for the call.
All righty.
All right.
Back into the delves of the chat room. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there you go. We are about out of time, so we will begin to wrap up. But thank you, Jenny, for calling. And, of course, it was very interesting to hear from our old friend Q, the mysterious Q, earlier, as well as Tony D. Lots of chat room drama today. Wow. I'll have to look at that after the show. So, and I'm really curious to look at the morning show's chat room as well. Boy, I'll tell you, never dull around here. But if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And let's see, I'll be back tomorrow, of course. But make sure you come back 7 a.m. tomorrow for the morning show with Peter White, with a replay, of course, from 2 to 4 p.m. right before this program. And then I'll be back at, what is this? Rob Dion says, I'm in the parking lot of urgent care. Positive thoughts that it is solved here. No worries. I'm not dying. Only the good die young. Oh, Rob, I don't know what's going on, but I hope you're okay, my friend. Rob, of course, part of the family here at WMNH, host of Through the Stage Door, and also the entertainment reporter Thursday mornings on the morning show. So, yeah, sending you some positive thoughts, Rob. I hope you're okay. All right. Well, with that, we will wrap up. I think we're going to wrap up with Peter White, if he's listening, will appreciate this. My favorite Beastie Boys track. This is Time to Build. And I think it's appropriate for what's going on right now. All right, we'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.